I can.
Can you hear me, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Mataji. Om Ajnanathimrandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurum Unmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadanti Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patithanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji, for doing the Mangalacharan. We are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 1, Chapter 10. Chapter 10 is the departure of Lord Krishna of Dwarka. And the text for today is text 8. As we are waiting for Mataji to come, maybe we can practice our Sanskrit and read the translation and purport. Mataji, would you like to read the Sanskrit and line by line, and I can repeat after you?
Oh, sure, Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naranjayam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutire. Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. Okay, Mataji. Amantriya Chabhi Anujnyatha Parishvajyabhi Bhadyatham Aru Roharatham Kaschit Parisvakto Abhivaditaha.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji, for reading the text. Radhika Mataji has just joined us. Hare Krishna, Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept our humble obeisances on behalf of everybody in this group. Thank you, Mataji, for joining us and giving your precious time. Mataji, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 1, Chapter 10. Chapter 10 is the departure of Lord Krishna from Dwarka. And the text for today is text 8. Mataji, we have done the Mangalacharan and just read the text. I can now hand over to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutire. Srinavata Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridayantastotiya Patrani Vidunoti Sudritsadam Krishna Prayeshu Patreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtike Om Ajnanatimiram Dasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharni Nirvishesheshanamadi Vashatari Shatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. All right, so let's get started with the outline of 1.10. So now, if you look at 1 to 6 verses, it is talking about the kingdom of Maharaj Yudhishthira. So the Shaunakadi Rishis asked, after killing the aggressors, how did Maharaj Yudhishthira, the greatest of all religious men, assisted by his brothers, rule his subjects? Surely he could not enjoy the kingdom unrestrictedly. Then for that, Sutta Goswami is now giving a response. What is he saying? The Kuru dynasty was exhausted by the bamboo fire of anger, and Lord Krishna was very pleased by re-establishing Maharaj Yudhishthir in his own kingdom. Then the third verse says, enlightened by Bhishma and Krishna, and thus eradicating all his misgivings, Yudhishthira, he ruled over the earth, followed by his brothers. Then there was sufficient. Then he talks about the prosperous kingdom. There was sufficient rainfall, profuse production from the earth, happy cows that moistened the ground with the milk, and profuse tax paid by the river, and profuse tax were paid, and the rivers, ocean, hills, and mountains, and forest and creepers, they were all very active. Now, the sixth verse is talking about how happy the citizens were. Nobody was disturbed by anxieties, diseases, and excessive heat, and the cold caused by nature, other living beings, or their own bodies and minds. So they were very, very happy. So first it talked about the vegetation and how flourishing the vegetation was in the kingdom. And then the sixth verse is talking about how happy the citizens were. So we talked about the prosperity, we talked about how happy the citizens were, and this is all due to why. What is the reason for all this? The connection is Maharaj Yudhishthir is the devotee of the Lord, and when the devotee rules the world, then naturally the kingdom is going to be prosperous and the citizens are going to be happy. So we should have a good leader. Now, so 7 to 14 is talking about the intensity of Lord Krishna's attractive influence. Lord Krishna is resided in Hastinapur for a few months to pacify his relatives and to please his own sister Shubhadra. He then took permission from Yudhishthira to leave. After exchanging obeisances and embraces from the loved ones, Krishna, he mounted on his chariot. Now, this verse that we are going to see in today's chapter is talking about the separation that the devotees and others are feeling when Lord Krishna is leaving. So, unable to bear the separation from Lord Krishna, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yushu, Kripacharya, Nakula, Sahadeva, Bhimsen, Daumya, Satyavati, all nearly fainted. So we can see that the attractiveness of Krishna is so great that even we see here Gandhari and Dhritarashtra, they were also getting separated, the feelings of separation. So we also see from the pastimes of Bhagavatam, isn't it, how Krishna is so attractive that the enemies of Krishna are unable to forget Krishna even for a minute. Even though they have the pratikul bhav towards Krishna, they are not able to forget Krishna. This is the power of Krishna. This is the attractiveness of Lord Krishna. Once you're like how we as devotees, we would have just started it saying, okay, let me get into this Krishna conscious movement. Let me try it out. This is how we would have started, isn't it? And now, after chanting the glories of the holy names, after hearing Krishna Katha, how is Krishna pulling us towards him? It's magic, isn't it? How we have changed, and the person who used to go and hang out with the materialistic friends never wants to hang out with his materialistic friends anymore. And this is the attractive power of Lord Krishna. Imagine Krishna is present and he is having a personal interaction with you. What would that be? That form of attractiveness would be. So again, the thing with the devotees is that we always should have the feeling, or it must become our feeling, that the holy name is non-different from the Lord, because that is the way we are seeing Krishna every day. We are having one-on-one conversation with Krishna every day. How privileged is it? If you were given an appointment with the CEO of a company for 10 minutes, how privileged would you feel? Isn't it? For that 10 minutes, yes, I've got an appointment with such and such company's CEO. Like that, we have an appointment with Krishna at that particular morning hours, right? Every day we have to hanker for those morning hours where we are going to have that one-on-one interaction with Lord Krishna. So this is the point here, devotees, how Krishna is so attractive that anybody who comes in contact with Krishna is going to have this unbearable separation from him when he's going to leave. So this beautiful verse, we have different themes, and we can definitely get into different parts of the themes and understand the intricacies of many things from this verse. So let me get started, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So now, Srila Prabhupada, in one of the other examples he gives is that of the Pandavas. They are like, their feeling is nothing but it's compared to that of fish out of water. The moment the fish comes out of water, it's not going to be happy at all. Like that, when Krishna is leaving Dwaraka, the association of Krishna, the situation is that like that of a fish out of water. The moment you take the fish out of water, it is going to have a terrible experience. And even if you give them, oh, I'll give you a higher taste piece, the fish is not going to be pacified. The fish is not going to be satisfied. The fish wants water. No matter whatever other things you're going to give it to the fish, it is not going to be happy or satisfied. The only thing that can save its life is that it has to be in water. So nothing else can satisfy it. In a similar way, the devotees' association of Krishna is like that of water. They can't just imagine the life without Krishna. So again, with our scenario, we don't feel this, right? We are not completely, we don't feel this kind of separation from Krishna because we have not seen Krishna. But again, I'm going to tell us some practical, what is separation for us is something that we will talk about today so that you understand, okay, what is this neophyte devotee? What is his feeling of separation is? I definitely want to talk about that particular point or theme so that we better understand that situation of us. Again, now coming back to the pure devotees of the Lord, what are they going through? Something that we cannot understand. There is a pastime from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam where it is told, once Krishna, he was playing a flute under Vamshivat and he was on the bank of Yamuna while he was playing his flute. And the gopis, they heard this flute sound and immediately their attraction to Krishna was awakened. And they want to go and now start to meet Krishna. They started coming to meet towards Krishna, and some of the gopis, they were stopped by their family members. They said, no, you can't go at midnight. How can you go? You're not allowed to go at this point in time. You have a lot of duties at home. How can you leave your young baby? And some of them, they have to take care of their husbands. Some of them, they have to take care of their parents or in-laws. And you're not going to go and meet at this point in time. So now the gopis, they could not tolerate this. And what was their mood? They were not allowed to go into the association of Krishna and meet with him personally. So what is told in the purport is that they actually gave up their life. But again, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, he is helping us understand what does this mean they gave up their life? Does it mean the gopis are dead and they don't have the body anymore? The consciousness of a pure devotee is such that due to this vipralamba, the separation, the feeling of separation, what happened is the material body that they had, the tinges of materiality that they had in their body, that got completely spiritualized because of the feeling, the intense feeling of separation from Lord Krishna. This is the potency of devotion or bhakti, dear devotees. That is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura mentions in his verse from the 10th canto. So, again, the point is, for a non-devotee, it's a totally different situation. He cannot leave this material world. They are, when you say him, oh, you have to leave this material world, they'll be unhappy to hear this. They have collected so many possessions, so many things, so much interest in this world. They have attachment to this world. They have so many desires that are yet to be fulfilled. They can't even think of leaving this world. But for a devotee, he has no interest in this world, but because in this world or any other world for that matter, but wherever there is service, wherever there is Govinda, that is where they want to be. So that is for the pure devotee specifically, they have no interest in anything other than Lord Krishna. So that is why even blinking of an eye makes a difference for them. I cannot see Krishna even for a moment. Oh, when I blink, I'm not able to see. Why did Brahma do this? How can somebody exhibit this feeling? Only when they have love, only when they have selfless love. Nothing, their world is Krishna. Nothing but Krishna. Now, is it ever possible for us to be like them? Definitely, dear devotees. That is why we are doing what we are doing. Srimad Bhagavatam is Amala Puran. Srimad Bhagavatam is Samadhi Bhasha. So the point is, Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Lord Krishna. So this feeling that is being experienced is given as a process, right? We have read from our second chapter, the first canto, what the stages are. And Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu elaborately talks about the stages as well. So we definitely know, okay, Adav Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha, we have Bhajana Kriya, then Anartha Nivritti, then we definitely are given those steps and what we have to do and what is defined, how we have to progress from one to another. Everything is given. The process is given and the procedure also works. Abhideya is also given to us. So all we have to do is endeavor. Now, coming back to a very, very important point that I told you. What does it mean for us to be in separation from Krishna? Isn't it? This is a very, very important question because this is the theme this verse addresses. What is okay? Pure devotees of the Lord, understandable. Gopis, understandable. Of course, their world is Krishna. They have nothing. Their thoughts are Krishna. Feelings are Krishna. Thinking is about Krishna. Whatever they are doing, it is for Krishna. So we understand how to get there and what is the feeling of separation for us from a devotee standpoint. Again, what we are talking about is not easy to get. That is also, it has to be admitted, isn't it? It is not easy to get the mood of the gopis. Srila Prabhupada had one small pastime. Now, this pastime was elaborated by Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, and I'm just going to tell his words as to what it means to serve in separation from Krishna. So when he was traveling with devotees in India, there was this girl called Saraswati, and she's the daughter of Malati in his party. And Srila Prabhupada once gave her a Krishna figurine to play with. She played with it, and Srila Prabhupada took it and hid it somewhere, and he handed it to somebody else. Okay, and Saraswati did not see how he took it. And she did not know who took it, and she began to ask each and every one, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And Prabhupada showed, oh, go there. Maybe he has Krishna. Then she would go and run up to this person and ask him, where is Krishna? And then Prabhupada showed, no, maybe he has it. Go and ask him. Then she would go and run up to the other person and ask him, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And Srila Prabhupada would look at little Saraswati and say, Saraswati is like the Goswami of Vrindavan. They also ran and said, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Then the Shama Sundara smiled and said, Saraswati, think about who might have Krishna. Shamsundara is another disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and he smiled at Saraswati and so told. Saraswati looked at everyone and thought, there is Krishna, where is Krishna? I really don't know. This is really very difficult for me to find out who has Krishna. And then, so like that, at our level, the service and separation from Krishna is like running around and saying, where is Krishna and where is Krishna? Without really realizing who Krishna is, how can we find him and why we need to find him? So, in essence, the service and separation from Krishna means try to understand how Krishna is manifesting in our life. This is the point Maharaj mentioned. So how he is manifesting in our life. We know Krishna is everywhere. Right now he is there. It's just not visible for me. He is there. Krishna is in every atom. This is what the Sandarbha says. I mean, Krishna is everywhere, and it's just that the prema has to come in, and we should be anointed with prema in order to see the Lord. But we are not there yet. And Krishna, we know he's in every atom. Krishna is in my heart. Krishna is here, there, everywhere. Okay. The devotee, one who has realized the truth, say for example, Prahlad Maharaj, he understands Krishna is everywhere. We know Krishna is everywhere, but we cannot fully understand he is there, right? So at an initial level, the philosophical level, the separation from Krishna means to understand how everything is connected to Krishna. Trying to feel that, seeing that connection of everything with Krishna is what is separation from Krishna. Trying to understand, okay, through the God-given intelligence, how is he acting in my life? What is he trying to teach me? What is he trying to do for me? How he is maintaining me? How when we meet with someone, we understand the connection of Krishna. He's the part and parcel of Krishna. How when we meet some ignorant people, how we should be interested to connect them to Krishna. So seeing Krishna in everybody, that is the point of separation for a devotee. He should feel that in every instance. That is realizing Krishna. So this is the point that Bhakti Vigyan Goswami brought about. And I thought it was very relevant for our discussion today as to how to serve in separation from Krishna, how the mood of the devotee is to see Krishna in every aspect of our life, and then enjoy his presence in every aspect of our life, be it suffering or be it joy, how we can think about Krishna and how we can feel Krishna, how we can use our intelligence to understand what Krishna is trying to teach us through our life situations. Now, coming to the other purport, I think 9 and 10, 11 and 12 maybe, yeah. So that is talking about the living being's constitutional position of serving the superior. This living being is obliged to serve by force the dictates of the illusory material energy in different phases of sense gratification. And in serving the senses, he is never tired. Even though he may be tired, the illusory energy is perpetually forcing him to do without being satisfied. There is no end to the sense gratificatory business, and the conditioned soul becomes entangled in such service attitude without the hope of release. The release is only effected by the association with pure devotees. So this is the point that is being talked about. By the association, what happens is one is promoted to the transcendental consciousness. Thus, he can know that the eternal position is to render service unto the Lord and not to the perverted senses in the capacity of lust, anger, desire, or anything for that matter. So there are many things that are being talked about, isn't it, dear devotees? If you look at it, what are we becoming servant of? We are becoming servant to the senses. The senses says, yes, I want to do this. Then we start doing that particular thing, which is what is being clarified here. Instead of becoming servant to the senses, we have to we have to gradually we have to start doing the service to the superiors, and through that service to the superiors, what happens is the senses are getting controlled. When we start doing, what is service? Devotion. Bhakti is service, and service is of 3 types. It can be done through mind, body, and senses, right? So when we start to serve the superiors, what happens is that is when we start to control our senses, which in turn are controlled by lust, anger, greed, etc. So it's very important point or a theme that is being talked about here. And then Srila Prabhupada clarifies the material society, friendship, and love all are different phases of lust. The home country, family, society, wealth, all sorts of corollaries are the cause of bondage in this material world, where threefold miseries are concomitant factors. By association with pure devotees and by submissively hearing to them, the attachment of material enjoyment becomes slackened, and attraction to hearing the transcendental activities of the Lord becomes prominent. A very important point again, isn't it? That how there is these things that we are bound to, the society, the friendship that we have, the love that we have in this mundane world, they are nothing but Prabhupada is clarifying different phases of lust. The 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in elaborate detail, it is talking about what this lust means and how this lust can be conquered, isn't it? It's very, very important to understand what lust is and how it can be conquered. Definitely, I'll try if we can go through it today or at some point later. But this is very important because we are always put into situation, and how we react to things definitely matters. And why we react to things in that way? Why is it? We say, for example, there is a lady going on the street, and three men look at her. 3 men have different ideas about this lady. One person, he wants to enjoy this lady. Another person, he thinks, oh, maybe this lady can teach my daughter and become a teacher if he knows Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, something. I'm just telling, some perceptions come to people. And why is this perception coming? This perception is coming because of previous samskars, dear devotees. How are we influenced, and how are we influenced to think in a particular way? It is all coming from samskaras, these impressions that are there in our mind, which is what is forcing us to act in a particular way. So, and when we keep on repeating it, what happens in the process is that it is getting strengthened. We are strengthening our samskaras by repeatedly performing an action that we are not supposed to perform. Not only are we going to get a consequence in the form of prarabdha and aprarabdha for the future, but in the present, these impressions are influencing us to act in a particular way, dear devotees. This is the logic. Anyways, coming back to a point, I thought that was a very, very important point. That's a great takeaway for today's class. Kindly please make a note of it in your heart, because this particular point has helped me in my life also several times, understanding why we are doing what we are doing. And if we are strengthening our samskaras, what is going to happen is that we are going to be doomed. So we should try to break that impression. I mean, we should try to, that is why this devotion comes into play. That is why we need to understand we are the servant, and how to act in that mood of the servant all the time is something that has to, that Lord has to bestow, Lord and our spiritual master have to bestow mercy upon us. To act in the mood of a servant, okay, we can do it with our spiritual master. Yes, he's my master, I'm his servant. Okay, you can have this kind of servant-master relationship with the spiritual master. What about others? Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. So this particular takeaway was very important and relevant in my life, and I thought of sharing it with you as well. Now, coming back, what is this, when it comes to Gauranga Mahaprabhu's life, he also had intimate devotees, right, who were absorbed in serving him 24 hours. I just thought of going through who those devotees were and how they were all serving Mahaprabhu. So one was Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami. He was constantly immersed in the kirtan and the kirtans of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They were so deep. And whatever particular mood of internal affection he was experiencing for Krishna, Swarup Damodar Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he used to have a particular mood of internal affection which he was experiencing for Krishna, and Swarup Damodar Goswami, he would understand that mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he will sing various beautiful songs related to that particular mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he would then pacify the various ecstasies that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has. So sometimes Swarup Damodar Goswami would sing for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he himself would lose all his external consciousness. And he would just be dancing, and so many transformations could happen in his body. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, by hearing from the kirtan of Swarup Damodar Goswami, what would happen to him is that he also obviously developed so much ecstatic feelings for Lord Krishna. And at one point he jumped into a well. And all the devotees, they were all afraid. What's happened to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? What has happened to him? Then they looked at the well and they saw it was an empty well. And they also looked at how horrible the situation is. And when they really looked at deep in, then this well was filled with soft butter. So Krishna, he always protects the devotees who are immersed in Kirtan. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's the ultimate protector of all devotees. He's showing through his example that we are always safe when we are absorbed in the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And Swarup Damodar Goswami, what we can understand is that he used to sing so many beautiful kirtans for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is how he served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, why am I talking about this? Is because there's this theme of service, isn't it? Only when we serve our superiors, what happens? Our senses are getting purified. So this is the point, dear devotees. So we are meant to serve. Until the part serves the whole, he's not going to be happy. So service is the root. It is the essence. Service can be in any way, dear devotees. It not necessarily is preaching. It can be in any form. You can go to the temple, serve the lordships in the temple. You can go to the temple, serve the devotees in the temple by feeding prasad. Or you can invite devotees to your home, have the exchanges with the devotees, serve them. So service can be in any form. It can be in mind, body, and senses, as I told you, or speech. So we don't have to, service can be of any form. So all we have to do is have the desire to serve our spiritual master. Then things will fall in place. So another example from Chaitanya Charitamrita again is Paramananda Puri. He is one of the god brothers of Ishwara Puri, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Guru Maharaj is Ishwara Puri's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Guru. He was always, Paramananda Puri, he was always absorbed in meditation on Krishna's name, meditation on his wonderful leelas in Vrindavan, and nothing could shake his consciousness from his internal meditation. Again, see, one point I thought it was a takeaway for me was that, see, this mood of the pure devotees is that they don't have any tinge of materiality in their heart. There is no material desires. Because of this, they are able to be constantly engaged in the service of the lordships. So if you look at our scenario, we have a lot of material desires, and hence to focus on one particular activity when it is related to spirituality, it becomes so difficult. Okay, we are listening to a class, but then what happens? We have our WhatsApp, we have our phone, we have everything in front of us. So many distractions. How about during chanting hours? Where are we? What is our status? Okay, the phone is not near us, fine, but what about the mind? Mind is uncontrollable, isn't it? It's going after so many material things. What am I going to cook? What am I going to eat? How am I going to enjoy? Or whatever that is. I really have no clue, but this is the point. I mean, these devotees of the Lord who are pure, they are able to do this because there is no tinge of materiality in their hearts. The third person is Gadadhar Pandit. He he was constantly reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. Every single day in Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would spend hours and hours at Tota Gopinath temple, where Gadadhar Pandit, Sri Gadadhar Pandit, he will open his lotus mouth and then he will reveal. He was none other than Srimati Radharani, and hence he knew all the secrets of Srimad Bhagavatam that was spoken by Sukadev Goswami. So all the secrets are known. Imagine somebody who's so qualified speaks Srimad Bhagavatam, where they have internally realized the truth and able to understand the what do you call it, and a Samadhi Bhasha. How, if they are able to speak, when they are speaking, how will that nectar be? Imagine how Gadadhar Pandit's, Gadadhar Pandit's recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam is, who is none other than Radharani. And what would happen is the tears would flow like Ganga and Yamuna, simultaneously, so much of tears. When Gadadhar Pandit, what would happen is Gadadhar Pandit would recite Srimad Bhagavatam, and the tears, because of ecstasy, would flow from the eyes of both. And after some time, this Srimad Bhagavatam would become practically unreadable because of their tears. It would flow and fall into the book, and because of that, they will not be even able to read the book. This is what is explained by Vrindavan Das Thakur, where Gadadhar Pandit would describe the section of glories of Prahlad Maharaj and how Narsingha Bhagavan appeared to protect him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would become so ecstatic hearing that. He would tell Gadadhar, read it again, the whole section of Prahlad Maharaj. And then it will bring tears into his eyes, and how he felt how Prahlad, he was in transcendental love to Narsinghadev. And Gauranga Prabhu, hearing this pastime, he would want to hear it again and again. So even if it was read 100 times, still Mahaprabhu wouldn't feel satisfied. And this desire to hear more and more of this pastime was there in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So all glories to Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Narsingha Bhagavan ki jai, Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Now, this section, I want to actually talk about, since it's talking about service, what is the service, and what is this thing about the spiritual master, right? Again, as I told you, relationships with the guru are needed, and we have to obviously have this mood of servant master relationship. And guru is the one who is capable of dispelling the false ideas that we have. So for that, how our relationship with guru has to be, a correct relationship has to be formed in order for the ego to be correctly established, isn't it? So as I told you, false ego is always there. It's definitely there to haunt us every time. But the correct ego has to be developed, isn't it? And this correct relationship is definitely possible in case of a spiritual master and a disciple. Now, the characteristics of a right relationship. What are the characteristics? Oh, Mataji, I would really like to know what the characteristics of the right relationship are. For that, the first number one characteristic for a right relationship is to have unconditional love. The unconditional love, say for example, I do a particular thing for someone and I expect something from them. That is not unconditional, because there is that expectation. When service is done to our spiritual master, it has to be unconditional. There's no expectation of anything whatsoever that the devotee has to expect from the spiritual master. Oh, will spiritual master recognize my service? Will spiritual master do this for me, that for me, if I do the service? This expectation will actually bind us. It's not going to help us progress in our devotional service. So for us to have the right relationship, the important point is that the service has to be done, and this mood of service has to be unconditional. So now, say for example, what is this relationship with spiritual master for? There are many ideas, many concepts why I need a spiritual master, right? It is necessary to understand this point very well. Why I need a spiritual master, right? Why I need? Because it's not possible for us to connect with Lord Krishna directly. And spiritual master is the one who's helping us. He is giving his hand so that we can connect to Krishna, because he is close to Krishna. And service means to become subservient to someone. How can we directly say, for example, somebody, we can just assume this. It's not right, but we'll just assume. He doesn't have a spiritual master. He just wants to connect with Krishna directly. How will he know what is the servant mood, master servant mood? The spiritual master is the one who's teaching us what the mood of a servant should be, how he has to establish the right ego, and how the tatviti pranipatena pariprakshana shevya, how he has to do the service. It is all taught by the spiritual master to the disciple, isn't it? There must be a living example in this material world whom we can exhibit all the qualities of how we are going to behave when we are going to go into the spiritual world, how we are going to do service to Krishna. That has to be emulated in this material world, isn't it? Practically also, if you look at it, wear a hat, you can ask, oh, why should I have a spiritual? I can directly connect. No. How you can connect when you are going to go into the spiritual world? How you have to act? Unless you're able to do this correctly in this material world, how can you go directly into the spiritual world and emulate it correctly? Is it possible? So when it comes to ego, a very important point, this is again Sankhya, a little bit that would be talked in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is important because ego is formed in the process of relationships. Okay. The ego never arises by itself. Our self-image is, why are you telling this, Mataji? How can the ego not arise by itself? Our self-image is always the result or product of relationships we have with other people, right? In fact, it's okay, let me just consider this example. We have never seen ourselves. We have only seen the reflection of ourselves. We know we are this kind of person because this is what others feel about me, with whom we enter into relationships. Are you getting this point, dear devotees? It's very important to understand that the ego is formed in the process of relationships. how this person, how he is reflected in the minds of other people with whom he is entering into relationship. That is what forms the self-image of that particular person. Again, the relationship with the spiritual master is also like that. All relationships, for that matter, we do establish our ego. So say, for example, false ego. False ego means I'm great, I'm the chief, I'm best, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm the CEO of this particular company. But the relationship with the spiritual master is mainly helping us identify how our ego should be formed correctly, that I am the servant. The relationship with the spiritual master should dispel this doubt or dispel this notion that I am the controller or I am the enjoyer. In this relationship, I must understand I am the servant, and I will always be the servant in any situation, and this will never change. This should be the eternal truth, and all spiritual practices should help us understand and help us conclude on this particular fact that I am the servant. Because it is not easy to do this, because the ego will resist us. Oh, you're the controller, you're the enjoyer. So relationships, in order for them to be correct and healthy, it should have two characteristics. As I told you, the first one is unconditional. Being the healthy relationships too should be unconditional. And the second important point is that, say, for example, if it's not unconditional, what does it mean? I'm such and such person. These people, they recognize me because I'm such and such person. I'm a CEO of this company, and that is why they respect me. And the real relationship should not, oh, if he's a CEO, if I have relationship with him, I will get this much money later for my charity. That should not be the logic, dear devotees. So the mood should be unconditional. That is when the correct ego is established. And the person should always be willing to serve. Always. I am the servant. Spiritual master is my master. I want to truly serve him without any motivation. And in that process, through my service, I'm not going to disturb him, my spiritual master, but I will only bring joy to him. This is what a devotee should strive for. And when we do this, our spiritual master will definitely be pleased. There is no doubt about it, because he understands our unconditional nature. He understands our service attitude and the mood with which we perform the service. And through that, we will be able to connect with Krishna through spiritual master's mercy. We cannot directly go and just say, yes, I can directly reach Krishna. Never. This mood of humility and submissiveness, it has to be, you really have to feel it with your guru. And through that process, guru is going to be happy. He's going to be pleased. And then he will connect you to Krishna. This is the mood that which we have to operate. And then when our ego is rightly established with our guru, and once he dispels the doubts of our ego, false ego, at that point, through the mercy, through his mercy, we will be able to act at the right platform of being in the mood of a servant at all points in time, in all circumstances. So the mercy has to descend down. So this is how we can naturally progress. Service attitude has to be there, and the mood of unconditionality, unconditional service, unconditional love has to be there. There's no conditions, there is no restriction. Now, because I'm talking about this unconditional nature, that I would again like to go to Chaitanya Charitamrita. We all know how Madai was going to attack Nityananda Prabhu. At that time, what happened? Jagai, he came and he said, oh, please be merciful. He's a sadhu. Don't attack this Nityananda Prabhu. He's a sadhu. At that point in time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became really angry at Madai for trying to hurt and offend his devotee Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu said to them, see, take all my pious and spiritual activities. I have performed so many. Take all of them from my previous births also. I'm willing to give all of them. Give them to Madai in order to be worthy of your forgiveness, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is what I will do. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard that Jagai had stopped him and Madai was trying to do this heinous act to Nityananda Prabhu, he said, "You have protected my beloved Nityananda Prabhu." And he embraced Jagai. And what happened? Immediately, there was that love of Godhead, went into Jagai. And then he started to tremble. Tears poured down from his eyes. And he fell at the feet of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And Madai saw this. And Jagai has become a pure Vishnava. He decided, he saw that Chakra was waiting for him. And then he said to Chaitanya, actually, whatever I have done in my life, he has done it too. We are like one soul in two bodies. If you deliver him, you must deliver me also. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, because you've offended Nityananda Prabhu, I cannot forgive you. You have to beg forgiveness only from Nityananda Prabhu. So Madai fell at the feet of Nityananda Prabhu, and Nityananda Prabhu, with all compassion, he just forgave. He just forgave Madai. So Vaishnavas are very, very compassionate. So the pure Vaishnavas, they are so soft in their heart. Their heart is completely melted. And all they can see is they can see their Ishtadev everywhere, wherever they go, because they are able to see that connection of Krishna everywhere. This is what is the feeling of a pure devotee. And when one gets association of a pure devotee, his life will also transform. Why? Because you're going to acquire the nature and qualities of him. By looking at him, you will start changing. There is a real person. Then this real person is in front of you, exhibiting so many wonderful qualities and wonderful traits. And how can we not change? Again, one may ask, oh Mataji, what are you talking about? To be in the association of pure devotees is very difficult. So that is why Vani Seva is there. We have to feel our spiritual master through our Vani. And this is what we can do. To emulate, to understand him, understand his qualities and what he's talking. It can be understood. When somebody opens their mouth, we can understand what kind of person that person is, isn't it? So it's very, very important to stay and be in the association of pure devotees. Or if you are not able to come across pure devotees and be in their association, at least some people will be aspiring to be a pure devotee, isn't it? We can try to get into their connection. If you want, you're looking for some physical, one-on-one conversations, one-on-one things, then we really, at least, okay, whoever is aspiring, I cannot find a pure devotee, it's very above my level. I can listen to his Vani and get a lot of nourishment through that. But I really want some personal association. Then whoever is Tivrena Bhakti on Yogena, whoever is doing Tivra Bhakti, and wanting to go into the Lord, but they are really, really sincerely aspiring. When we come under their association, that can also influence us, dear devotees. This is also another important point, isn't it? So whoever is striving for, when whoever is having that eagerness, the curiosity, then if we are under their association, we can also become like them. We will also have desire to hear. We will also have desire to make notes. We'll also have desire to do good things. Oh, he's able to leave his envy. I can also leave envy, because God, he doesn't forbid anybody from, he has room for it. It's not like an employment company where only 10 people are given entrance into this particular, we have only 10 job openings. It's not like that. The spiritual world is so vast, everybody can enter into the spiritual world. There is no reason to be envy. If somebody is doing somewhere really good, that's due to the mercy of the Lord. If we are envious against them, then we are envious against the Lord. All these, when we are in the association of devotees, or coming to Krishna Katha like this and hearing under the association of devotees, that also can help. When we ask the right questions, what happens? Our doubts are getting clarified. And in that process, what happens? We are not only helping ourselves, we are also helping the others in the call by asking the right questions. And through that, we are getting one step closer to the Lord. Why? Because doubts are freeing us to, if you have, the only reason we are not able to surrender is because we are having so much doubts inherently in our heart. So many doubts are there. Those doubts have to be clarified, dear devotees. Unless all our doubts are clarified, till then we will not have complete surrender. So we need to definitely work on that aspect as well. And it's very important to clear the doubts. Okay, I think I have spoken a lot. So let me leave some time for question and answers and have some interaction with the group. So with this, we can conclude. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnav vrind ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta vrind ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for today's class and doing so many verses till text 12 and explaining us about unconditional love and service attitude and how our ego will be, the false ego will be dispelled, and how to strengthen our true ego. And then I was wondering, as you were saying, where do I get these devotees association every time, who would guide me? But you then ended up with that even aspiring devotees can be helpful. So thank you so much. You answered my question as we were going through. So thank you very much for that. And are there any other questions or comments from the group? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams.
Mataji, I had a doubt that when you're speaking of unconditional love, so it becomes difficult to practically express it or practically feel it. When you're dealing with when you're dealing with devotees, we know that we are devotees, but when dealing with non-devotees, it becomes tough sometimes. When you're doing different dealings. So, any thoughts on that, Mataji?
Wonderful question, Prabhuji. So with regards to non-devotees, we just need to have a compassionate heart. That's all. I mean, we because they are ignorant, right? They are not yet into this platform of devotional service. There are 4 kinds of people whom we will meet with, right? And non-devotees is one of them. And with them, we just have to have a compassionate heart because they are ignorant. They don't know the signs. And the act of whenever we do service, it has to be unconditional, unmotivated. Because say, for example, I'm into preaching for non-devotees. It should not be done for fame or anything of that sort. But instead, the motivation has to be clear. My spiritual master will be pleased when I preach the glories of Lord Krishna, or Krishna will be pleased. His glories has to be spread. When we cultivate this mood internally, for a person who's after name and fame, it might be difficult initially to control that urge that I'm being looked upon by so many people. But then the mood has to be cultivated. That mood, that the service has to be done in an unconditional way. I have to bring them because they are ignorant to bhakti. Because bhakti is the Swarup Shakti of the Lord. Bhakti is inherent to the Lord. So when bhakti Krishna, that he'll be happy because I connected his part to the whole. So when we develop this mood, I think slowly that selflessness, the unconditional service attitude will come to us. But with non-devotees, usually we don't have to, we just have to be compassionate to them. There is no relationship as such that we are developing with them, because our relationships are specifically, we associate with people who are devotees. With non-devotees, it's the service attitude that matters. Hope that helps, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, thank you so much. It helps. Yes, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Are there any other questions or comments or doubts?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Sorry, Mataji, I missed a couple of sessions actually. One because of Gita Parayanam, and the other one I was out of station. So I will catch up with Kiti the Mataji's recording videos. Thank you, Mataji. And today I have a couple of doubts, Mataji. There were so many details, and yeah, thank you so much for that. So the first example you told on Saraswati, little child, right? So on that, what is the actual inference have to be taken, Mataji? Like currently we are also like, sometimes we feel for Krishna, not every time, sometimes I feel. And of course, we also know that he is everywhere, he is in everything. So he is not away from us, he is in Nama also. So how we have to understand this, Mataji? Like separation, or we are not separated? How it is?
So as I told you, Mataji, the pure devotee, how his feeling is, his feeling is that he's able to see Krishna everywhere. So there is no problem. So Maharaj is trying to bring up the point that we also should come to that platform of seeing Krishna in each and every everything. Everything. Basically, say for example, we are having this Krishna Katha. This is due to the mercy of Krishna that I'm able to listen to this Krishna Katha. Say for example, I'm able to move these hands or I'm able to talk because of Kriya Shakti. And the controller of this Kriya Shakti is Krishna. And the cognition, the knowledge that we are able to get, material knowledge or spiritual knowledge for that matter, it's due to Krishna's sanctioning to me that I'm able to understand this spiritual matter. So when we are able to understand, okay, the point is the false ego has to drain, Mataji. The false ego has to go away. Like the real ego means the true ego. It has to come to us. For that, we have to understand we are not the doer, but every instance, if I'm thinking, oh, I'm giving this presentation, I'm doing this act. No, it's because of Krishna's mercy. It's because of my Guru's mercy, I'm able to speak. This is the point. Seeing Krishna everywhere in every instance. When I'm talking, am I speaking the right words? If I'm speaking the right words, it's not me. I should realize this in my heart. It's not me. It's my Guru's mercy that I'm able to speak relevant words of Srila Prabhupada. This is the point. I mean, seeing Krishna in every instance is the separation from Krishna. If you're not doing that, that is when you need to be said. You need to beg to Krishna that I'm not able to see you anywhere. So, somebody comes to you, maybe he's your enemy. The feeling of us having the enemy itself is wrong in the first place. Because we are Atma, we are supposed to be Sachitanand. And if you are having an enemy, that Sachitananda principle is broken. How can you have an enemy? Prahlad Maharaj said, there's no difference, but you divide and tell me this is friend and enemy. Through this, you are distinguishing people and making me corrupt and my mind corrupt. No, I don't want to have this kind of feeling. So feeling Krishna in every instance in your life is what Maharaj meant, Mataji. Hope you're able to get that point. I'm not sure how to put it across, but feeling his presence. Say, for example, some calamity happens. Why me? Why me? That brings us and puts Krishna into a difficult situation. Why would he do this for a devotee? But when we understand the intricateness, understand how Krishna is helping me come closer to his lotus feet by giving me this kind of incident in my life. Seeing Krishna through your intelligence, seeing Krishna through your mind, seeing Krishna through your senses. This is what Maharaj meant through that. Seeing Krishna everywhere. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? That is what you need to engage your faculties of your mind, intelligence and senses to see Krishna everywhere.
Wonderful, Mataji. Thank you so much for the clarification. I was actually understood half away. So thank you so much, Mataji, for the clarification.
Wonderful.
And my another one doubt was, Paramananda Puri is Ishwara Puri's disciple, Mataji? I missed that point.
Yes. He's Ishwara Puri. I just quoted that example to prove how he was
not in material things,
the name form. Yeah, because he doesn't have only when we don't have material desires, that is when the heart becomes pleased, and that is when we'll be able to have Krishna Smaran constantly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranams, Mataji. I always I think admire Lakshmi Mataji because not class. I mean, she's there in all forums. That eagerness and curiosity to listen to Krishna Katha is very much seen in Mataji. Totally inspiring in many ways for many people, I'm sure. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
She asked such nice questions. So she's an inspiration for us as well.
Just trying,
Hare-
Mataji. Very good. Please bless me that I have to attend the everyday class, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So such spiritual desires are always taken care of, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Are there any other questions or comments? I know we have exhausted our time. If there are no more questions or comments, I would request Arya Govind Prabhu. Prabhu, can you please end the session? Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, you are muted. We can't hear you.
Sorry, sorry, Mataji. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. Your classes are always very informative, and then a lot of points to take home. And I mean, a lot of points on unconditional love, and then also on the service attitude. You mentioned various points to take home. Thank you so much, Mataji. I request all the devotees to unmute and then chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra in glorification of Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
One.
Namo Namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Jai.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for ending the session. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.